And hello and welcome to Suite 301. I'm your host, Christian Smith. I'm alongside Savannah Aarons. Thank you for joining us today. We're coming from the friendly confines of our own homes. We're here to give you all the updates from around all of our Coal Club sports leagues. You can watch all of our broadcasts on our Suite 301 page on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for the latest news and media. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch this back and other videos from around the league.
Awesome. Well, Savannah, I'm excited for the show. I know we teased some big news on our social media outlets, and we have a lot to get to in the show, but a big announcement coming later in the show. But before we get to that, let's get into some football. We're going to get Joe on the line. Joe will be talking some NCFA, and we're going to get him on. Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, guys. How you guys doing?
Well, let's talk football. Okay, so we got what's the status update on the league? What's happening?
Yeah, so we just got done with our voting ballot for the league meeting. We had one potential change to the roster, max roster size. That was voted upon. We have the results. They were sent out to the teams. 14 teams voted against the proposal of expanding the maximum roster limit. And then we had a total of 6 teams vote for it. 3 teams voted expanding it to 55 players. 3 teams voted expanding it to 60 players. Regardless, that rule is not going to pass this year. So we're set at a max roster limit for 50 players going into 2020. And then the rule book will be updated for the 2020 season. We're working on that right now. That should be posted here in the next 24 hours with the official 2020 rule book.
Well, that's nice. So mainly keeping the same rule book. Doesn't sound like there's going to be updates, but what else is going on? We got the fall kickoff coming up. Is registration open for that?
Yeah. So myself and Scott Hoffman have been spearheading those talks with Pitt Club Sports Department. Pitt Club football team has done a fantastic job leading that charge internally. Submitting the paperwork for us to get the facility, the Pitt Sports Dome facility. We do have some positive news. It does look like that we're going to be able to get the facility for Saturday, October 10th. Unfortunately, we will not know for certain until August 3rd. But my talks with the Pitt Club Sports Director basically assuring us that we'll be the first on the list to have that facility, and we will know August 3rd. So the teams that are tuning in today, all the NCFA teams, anyone interested in playing at the fall kickoff this year, it's going to be Saturday, October 10th. I know in years past that we've done 2 games, total of 4 teams. We're looking to expand this to maybe a 3-game or a 4-game day and have anywhere between 4 and 8 teams participate. Right now we're going to open up the registration, knowing in the back of our heads that we won't know for certain until August 3rd. But we want to see what the interest level is. We want to see what kind of numbers we can do. And it's important for you guys to reach out to myself, Scott Hoffman. I know a couple teams already have. We have you guys on the docket. But if you're out there listening right now and you're interested at all, if you want any information about the event, please reach out to myself and Scott Hoffman. We'll go ahead and give you the details and the rundown of what to expect with the event this year.
Well, that's great. And I know the teams really look forward to that. I know it's a great event. It's indoor facilities, so the weather isn't a factor during those games. And I know a lot of the football teams enjoy it. So it sounds like, October 4th, and you're going to know August 3rd. That's 2 months where teams can certainly plan. So good luck, Joe. Thank you for all those updates. Is there anything else that the team should be aware of in the football league?
That's it right now. I'm sure things will progress here in the month of May. I believe the coronavirus thing is taking a turn for the better as far as my contacts go and what I've been told, which is great news. And the more that situation develops, the more information. I know a lot of questions are still coming in about the coronavirus situation, if it's going to impact the NCFA season. Those questions will hopefully be addressed here in the next couple of weeks as we see the progression of this thing simmer out, hopefully. But As far as today goes, as far as this week goes, nope, there's no updates. Teams, just be sure to circle October 10th, Saturday, October 10th on your calendar, and then reach out to myself or Scott Hoffman if you have any questions about the fall kickoff.
Well, awesome, Joe. Thank you so much for your time. Any football teams have any questions, you can always reach out to Joe. He's doing a great job with the football league. So congrats, Joe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it.
So moving on, let's get into some basketball stuff. And I know if you're a normal viewer of Suite 301, we're kind of going out of order, and that's because of the big news we got coming your way later in the show. So make sure to stay with us. But again, before we get to that, let's jump into some women's basketball. Let's get Alec Verhoff on the phone, the director of the Women's Basketball League. Get him on video call, and we'll talk. How you doing, Alec? How you doing, bud?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. So what do we got on the women's basketball side of things? I know we've, in just the NCBBA realm, we've been really busy, even though the season came to somewhat of an abrupt end. But what do you got going on women's basketball-wise?
Big thing to note right now is we just had our league meeting not too long ago. So the voting ballot is out for that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties during the meeting, but overall I think it went really well. At one point I think we had almost 40 viewers, which is honestly really good. Just good opportunity to talk about this past season, what's to come for the next season. Potential rule changes. I think we have 7 things on the ballot. Ranging from clock issues to rosters to protests, stuff like that. So voting closes on Friday, so make sure to get that taken care of by Friday. Remember to only have one person vote. Very important. One person per team.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the women's basketball annual league meeting, I tuned in for a little bit. It was the day after the men's meeting, and I believe it was answered in the chat box. But it was just so happened in our area, the Pittsburgh area, there was just internet connection issues. I was very nervous. It happened on Wednesday and Thursday where internet was down in the tri-state area. So that's where those things came from. But I did notice that the viewership was up, and I even saw, I want to say 2,700 people have viewed the video that I saw. So hats off to you guys. Good job on that. And yeah, all you women's teams out there, make sure to get your voices heard with the ballot out. I'm assuming that was all emailed out to the teams, right, Alec?
Yep, all emailed out to the teams as of last Friday.
Okay. So what else we got going on? So the voting ballot closes up on May 8th. Anything else going on? LPAs is the big thing too, getting those in for this upcoming season.
Yeah, get the LPAs in. We've reached out about the credits, the possible credits for next season for every team, and you have to get your LPA in by June 1st to be able to receive those credits toward your dues. So make sure to get those in. I've gotten quite a bit of LPAs so far, but there's still some teams we're waiting on. So be sure to get that in as soon as possible.
And also, just to reiterate, and we'll probably talk about it on the men's side. If there were any women's teams out there that weren't able to tune in live, they can obviously watch the recorded version on the Facebook page. That's correct, right?
Yes, they can watch the recorded version, and I also sent out the slides that we use to all the teams so they can see the presentation as well.
Good stuff. And we also got a new team on board.
We did. We got UMass on board. Happy to have them. I've been talking to them for a while before all of this coronavirus stuff started. So, I knew they were planning on coming on for a while. It was just a matter of getting the paperwork in. And we did finally get that, with all of this craziness going on. So we're very happy to have them be part of the league.
Good stuff, Alec. Thank you so much. Anything else that the women's teams need to know about until next episode?
Just stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you have any new teams that might be good for the league, please feel free to let me know. alec.veerhoff@colclubsports.com. Be more than happy to reach out to them.
Well, awesome, Alec. Thank you so much for your time, man. You're doing great things on the women's basketball side, and that's easy transition to get into the men's side of things. Very similar to the women's. We had our league meeting in late April. It went really, really well. We also did have some technical difficulties with the internet connection and the video being a little choppy, but Had some great viewers tuning in, had some great role proposals coming through, and we discussed a lot of important information. So it went really well. Same thing as the women's basketball side. Portion of that meeting was proposed rules for this upcoming season, and I proposed some. I believe 5 or 6 rules were proposed, and teams, if they supported those, they went onto the voting ballot. We also had teams chime in with a couple rule proposals of their own. I know one of which was being the coronavirus and seniors kind of lucking out and not being able to finish out their season, maybe granting them an extra year of eligibility. That was put on the voting ballot. And another possible rule change was getting rid of the time period in which you can play your 5 seasons of intercollegiate basketball. So both those were put on along with a few others that I proposed. So um, if you haven't voted yet, please go to the Survey Monkey. It was emailed to all the officers. It takes less than 5 minutes to go through the rule proposals and cast your vote. Make your voice heard. We have a lot of teams during the course of the year. They're not happy with the rule. Well, now's your time to have your voice heard and put your vote in. So make sure to do that. The deadline to put your vote in is May 8th. So be sure to cast your vote before that deadline. And then once the May 8th passes, we will have the updated rule book for the upcoming season released in the not too distant future. Also want to let everybody know that I believe we'll get a little flash up on the screen. The All-Americans were released. You can see them there. Congratulations to all those gentlemen listed on there. I know it wasn't the way anybody wanted to end this season, but a silver lining we could pull is at least naming an All-American, a first, second, and third team All-American team. So congrats to those guys. You should be really proud of your seasons. And we also had all region teams released prior to the All-Americans. All of those are listed on the website. So be sure to check those out. And we also had a new team join just recently. Hopefully we can get that up on the screen. Yes, TCNJ, the College of New Jersey, has just joined the NCBBA Men's League. And I know a lot of teams were excited about them coming on. They were a participant in our fall invitational tournament that we had this past November. And when it was sent out to all the teams that they had joined, I got a lot of positive feedback from the team saying how excited they were that they were officially members of the league. So really excited to have the Lions on board for the 2020-2021 season. So last things I just want to get out to the teams is make sure to vote. Again, May 8th is the deadline to vote. If you need me to email you the link for the Survey Monkey voting ballot, I can certainly do that, but it has been all emailed to you. So make sure you have your voices heard. And then the last thing, LPAs and registration forms. Those were also all emailed out to teams. And if you're a team that qualifies for a credit, please email me directly, and I can give you the amount your credit will be for the dues for next season. So that all has to be in by June 1st, your LPA and your registration form, in order to receive that credit. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But other than that, I think we are all set on that men's basketball side, and we're going to take a quick commercial break. And again, stay tuned with us. Some big news coming. So look forward to having you back with us in a few seconds.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies, for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the official uniform, apparel, and equipment sponsor of the NCBA and NCSA. All member teams receive up to 45% off on all Rawlings orders. All uniforms and apparel options are fully customizable. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Justin Rickert at justin.rickert@coldclubsports.com or call at 412-321-8440, extension 111.
And welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us here. Again, we got some big news coming, so really sit tight. It's going to be exciting stuff. I know I'm excited to announce it or to share the announcement with some other my colleagues. So we're going to get into some baseball side of things. National Club Baseball Association. The big news since our last episode has the Division One postseason was unfortunately canceled due to the coronavirus. It just didn't work out for us, unfortunately, like the D2 and Division Three. But yeah, we just weren't, as far as the regionals goes, we couldn't find more than two teams to possibly play. There was only, I believe, 7 teams that were eligible or able to play in the World Series, and that's at best. I highly doubt that number would have increased, probably have decreased come World Series time. And with the amount of season played, we didn't feel like it warranted enough to crown a national champion. And we were kicking around the idea of, well, if we're not going to have a World Series, maybe we have a postseason invitational tournament where we invite teams to come out and play that are able to play in Holly Springs. But we just didn't have enough interest in doing that as well. So unfortunately, it was certainly very difficult for us to cancel it. You know, the Division One World Series, Call Club Sports, and everything started with the NCBA. The NCBA World Series has been a mainstay at the end of May for the last 19 years. So canceling this one was certainly tough, but we hope to have some special things coming out, especially on social media and our websites during World Series week. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, follow our social media accounts to stay up to date on those types of things. But another thing, along with the other leagues, the common theme is the LPAs and registration forms for next season were emailed out. That includes Division One to all the teams, and credit information for dues next year can be found out by emailing the director of each division directly. So if you're a Division One team and want to find out if you qualify for a credit, you can email Eric Curator at eric.curator@callclubsports.com. If you're a Division Two team and you want to find out if you qualify for a credit for next year's dues, contact Garrett Seamek at garrett.seamek@callclubsports.com. And then finally, if you're a Division Three team and you want to find out if you qualify for a credit, make sure to email Tom McManus at tom.mcmanus@callclubsports.com to find that information out. But that information was all emailed to you. You need to have your LPA and registration form turned in by June 15th in order to receive that credit. And again, if you have any questions, certainly reach out to those guys. But that's where we are on the baseball side of things. And I'm hopeful to get Garrett Seamek on video here. How are you, Garrett?
Good. How you doing, Christian?
Doing well, man. Well, thank you for joining us today. We've been teasing it all show, but we have a very big announcement on the baseball side of things. Garrett, the director of spring training, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So, spring training was kind of the first thing that was affected by coronavirus. So we want to let those people know the good news that we have coming to them, and the fact that in 2021, training will now be in Panama City Beach, Florida. After 10 great years in Tampa, 10 plus great years in Tampa, I should say, we're relocating to Panama City Beach and the Panama City Sports Complex for the next 4 years. This is it's a big move that's been in the works for a while now. There's 5 fully turf baseball fields, 5 fully turf softball fields, LED lights, 7 batting cages, and we're really excited about this new opportunity, and I think our teams are going to love it down there.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk more in depth about the facility and get into not only a facility, but Panama City and why this is such a great move. But yeah, it's been, I know when we have our spring training meetings each month, we, for, I don't know, the last 5-10 years, we've been talking about Panama City. There's always been talks about a facility opening in Panama City Beach. It finally did open, I believe, last summer. And we're going to be one of the first organizations on this facility, at least in a big way. and it's an absolutely fabulous facility. You and Sandy got to actually tour the facility. When was that? Was that January-ish? You got to go down and take
Yeah,
a look at the facility.
late
But
January.
yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful facility. You can obviously speak more to it, but all turf fields. And again, we're going to get into all the great reasons why this is such an incredible, exciting news for our baseball teams, because we have been in Tampa for a long time. We thank Tampa for everything. That relationship was fantastic. And it's at no fault of Tampa. It was just this facility was fantastic and met all of our needs. And we honestly believe that this facility was really built for us. We also, you touched on swing into spring,
Yep.
and that being the name of the new spring training showcase. Most of the East Coast teams know the spring training showcase as the event down in Tampa. With this new location, we decided to rebrand the name and call it Swing into Spring. And that might ring a bell for some of the teams, because we have a swing into spring in Mesquite every year. And the teams out west, what I've noticed when we were talking in our meetings, what I've noticed when they're blocking out their conference scheduling on their schedule request form, they block off a weekend and they need off for swing into spring. So it's a branded name for those teams. They know what it is. It's not, hey, we want to go to the tournament in Mesquite. They know it as swing into spring. So we wanted to not only bring our West Coast spring training and East Coast spring training events somewhat together, or rebrand them together, but we really like the name. So that's why we are now calling it Swing into Spring in Panama City Beach. So we're really, really excited about it. And I believe we're going to get Sandy Sanderson on the line, our fearless leader. He's actually down in Panama City Beach as we speak. And he's going to go through a lot of the great reasons why this is such an amazing for our organization.
Thanks, Christian and Garrett. It is exciting. You touched on it. 10 years we've been in communication with Visit Panama City Beach, the tourism group down here. Richard Sanders from their office that called me up 10 years ago and said, "Hey, Sandy, if I were to build a baseball complex, what would it need to have for you to move your spring training here?" And we got into field dimensions, what we care about, turf, avoiding rainouts, lights, things like that, dugout size even, little details like that. And they were, for the most part, all taken into account in the development of this facility. And when it finally opened, he said, "Sandy, we're here. You ready?" And it became time. It was a great 15 years in Tampa. We were there, and we're excited to start this new relationship with Panama City Beach, Florida. So I want to take you through my top 10 reasons why Swing in the Spring Panama City Beach is going to be the best event ever, okay? And number 10 on that list is the Visit Panama City Beach Tourism Group. They've practically built this facility for us. They can't wait for our teams to get here. They're going to make everyone feel so welcome while they're here. Number 9 on my list, the beach quality. Number 9, beach quality. If you've never been to Panama City Beach, the sand is what they call white sugar sand. It's the best on the East Coast, possibly the country. Unbelievable. 320 days of sunshine a year here, 74 degrees average temperature. This is a baseball weather town with a beach that's going to blow your minds. All right, number 8 on my list, top 10 reasons to swing in the spring is going to be awesome. Staying on schedule. We're talking about more fields, all synthetic turf, which means if it rains, it's not going to affect us that badly. There's less maintenance in between games, so we can turn over games. We can end one and start one quicker than normal. No more dragging the field, no more watering the field. We're going to be able to stay on schedule, which is always great for everybody else. Number 7 on the list, trainers, athletic trainers. The Swing in the Spring Panama City Beach now will always feature athletic trainers on site for all game action. They won't be there for practices, but they'll be there for games. First time in our history, we're going to have trainers at spring training, and it's going to be awesome. No more having to ice your own arms after games. You can go see the trainer for that. Number 6 on my list, the commute to Panama City Beach. 90% of our teams drive. Very few teams fly to a spring training. They're certainly welcome to, but 90% drive. For those that drive, other than the couple Florida schools that usually come in, we've now cut 5 hours off your commute each way. So what we're saying is come early, stay later. If you are going to fly, Panama City Beach has its own airport, known as Northwest Florida Beaches International Airport. It's got direct flights. So does Destin. Fort Walton Beach has direct flights on some of the major discount carriers as well, and that's only an hour and a half away. So getting to Panama City Beach is going to be easier for everybody. All right, number 5 on my list, the accommodations. We've partnered with a group called Resort Collection, and they are a vacation condo booking agent, and they manage properties all over the area down here. And so what we've got, instead of the old-fashioned hotel rooms that our teams are accustomed to, where we get excited if it had a mini fridge in it, every accommodation that our teams that are set aside for our teams is a vacation condo style. We're talking multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, laundry in room, full kitchens, balconies. Think about what you probably stay at when you go on vacation with your parents. So, and they range from 4-person occupancy to 10-person occupancy, and we've kept into account the price per head. So we've been able to secure these lodgings. It's going to be the best accommodations we've had for any of our spring training events. All right, number 4 on my list, close to the beach. All of the hotels that we've partnered with are no more than 300 yards. That's yards, 900 feet away. It's my driver on a good day with the wind in my back. That's how they're all within 300 yards from the beach. So there's no more having to plan a day to go out to the beach. You can go to the beach before your game, go to the beach after your game every day if you want. Number 3 on my list, commuting to the sports complex. A lot of people remember there'd sometimes be traffic on I-4 heading out to Mike Sansone Ballpark. All of the resorts we have for the teams to stay at all fall within 8 miles of the Panama City Sports Complex. That's 15-minute drive tops. So we're excited about that. No more long commutes back and forth from the field. All right, number 2 on my list, more fields, with 5 college-sized baseball fields, 5 softball fields, 1 complex. No more running around to different venues around town. No more heading out to a different high school this day and then your next game's over at a different high school this day. Everything's in one complex. And with more fields, we're going to have better game times, right? We're not going to have to pack games at 8 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. We can start a little later, finish a little earlier, get your baseball in, but also get you back to the spring break aspect of it and relaxing with your buddies. And there's a view of the complex right there. All right, and the number 1 reason Panama City Beach Swing in the Spring is going to be the best event: field, qualities, and amenities. We're talking, this is all brand new stuff right here. Brand new turf. It's got Z-Cap cooling technology in it, which is some sort of volcanic dust they add into the rubber that absorbs heat. So even in the Florida sun, the turf doesn't get that super hot like you're used to when you think of AstroTurf in the sun or artificial turf in the sun. All the fences are the right dimensions. Everything's brand new here. The dugouts are bigger. Sometimes in Florida we would have, or down in Mike Sansone, we'd have to have guys outside the dugout. Dugouts are bigger now. You can fit the whole team in the dugout now. We've got, you're going to have turf, brand new turf. It's going to be true hops. It's just fantastic. We've got 7 batting cages in the complex. There's lots of open space between fields. So you can stretch, you can run, you can throw. There's so much space down here. It's so well put together and spread out. And that's my number 1. The field quality is just so much better than anything we've ever experienced. So, Christian, you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, and yeah, it's a fantastic list that you put together. Really is. Are you going to take us on a little bit of a tour?
I'm going to do my best to give you a little tour. I'm over here in the roundhouse between 4 of the baseball fields. Got a little Florida sun out here today. But
yeah, we're very sorry that you had to pull the short straw and go down there and tour the facility.
So I mean, it's a big facility. So if I start to bore you, you can cut me off. But here, I'm heading over to Field 5 right now, just because it happened to be closest to where I came out of the roundhouse. But I mean, That's a beautiful baseball field right there. Fences are, I believe it's 320 down the lines, 385 to center, so 390 to center. Oh, scoreboards on every field too, and they're remote controlled. So we'll have remote score controls in the dugouts. Here's a shot of a dugout here. I don't know. One of the other things I thought they did a great job with, they spread the fields out enough where I don't think it was going to be a big problem with foul balls from one field going on to another field. They took that into account. Big dugout right there, helmet racks, things like that. They got LED lights that are supposed to be TV quality. Not that that's a major concern for us, but should we have night games, we'll have great quality there too. Big open stretches here, picnic areas. There's 2 concession areas here. One here in the rotunda, in the roundhouse rotunda here. Then there's one back towards the softball side of the complex. This here, where I am right now, is in the middle of the baseball side. So there's 4 baseball fields surround this roundhouse, and then up further closer to the main gate, there's what they call it the championship level field. Just got a little bit more seating capacity. I think it seats 1,500 up there. Doesn't really have a big stadium vibe to it, but it just they call it their championship field just because it has a little bit more seating.
You got some cages down there as well, Sandy?
Yep, there's 2 cages down by the championship field. We got covered seating here for spectators. I'm gonna head down towards the bank of batting cages and kind of show you the softball area as well.
Yeah, but while you're on your way down there, I mean this place, there's really no compromises. I mean, everything we have is here. So I think teams should be really, really excited about it, especially the teams that come down to swing into spring every year. They should be really excited about it because we didn't have to compromise on anything. It's absolutely a gem, and teams should be really excited about it.
One of the other things I wanted to point out, because I know I'm walking by and I see it now, bullpens. Every field's got bullpens down each foul line. So, literally every team's got their own bullpen. No more sharing with the other team or something like that. Hope I'm still in Wi-Fi range here. But here we go. Bank of batting cages. We're down here, kind of getting on the edge of the baseball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batting cages, L screens. Everything you need there for a big warm-up, pre-game. Look how much space is between these fields here. You could have a full team throwing and running right here. And Christian, you had talked about, they didn't really skimp on anything here. I'm actually honored to have been working with Richard Sanders, going back 10 years, because I feel like the little things that were wrong in other facilities we've used in the past, they took them into account. We communicated, here's something you should think about. Here's something that we've noticed in the past. And it seems like they took everything into account when putting this facility together. All right,
absolutely.
Here, I'm down to the field.
I was just about to say, I mean, even the smaller things that, the scoreboard, remote scoring. I know parents, especially watching the game, are going to really appreciate, and I know parents are going to appreciate the covered seating. Not to bash Tampa by any means, but that wasn't in. Those 2 things weren't offered in Tampa. So having those things, I know even from a spectator standpoint, there's no compromises.
Absolutely. And I'm down here now at the kind of the first softball field. Now they've designed all these fields to be as rectangular fields, but as you can see there, it's got the infield built into it. This is where they do their youth sports, like Little League baseball and so forth. But that's 60-foot bases for softball. They bring in the breakaway.
Fencing.
So they bring in the temporary fencing and put it out there, and that's where they hold the softball games and so forth. Now there's 2 more fields back here. 2 more fields back here that I'll take you down to these ones. Now these are split up. Both fields are on the same. It's like you can play soccer on it, but they put up temporary fences and it becomes 2 softball fields as well.
Let's get Savannah.
So
Are you able to talk?
Yeah,
There
I'm
she
still
is.
here.
Yeah,
Hi.
talk to us about NCSA spring training. Sandy's shown us the softball fields down there. You're obviously somebody that's been a part of the spring training showcase for a long time, being the director of that. But talk about the softball side of things. I know you're going to be getting involved with that, but how exciting will this be for the softball teams as well?
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited for the softball teams to be able to experience this as well. So if you guys are looking at the video now, Sandy's showing us the softball portion of this facility. So I'm really excited to make this move. Again, Tampa's been amazing. We've been working with them for a very long time, but it was just time. As everyone said, it was like that this facility was built, with our teams in mind, especially, I've been in on those conversations with Richard Sanders for the past 10 years. And I think they really do care a lot about us and took our needs and our wants and made it happen. It's beautiful. Not to mention, I grew up in Georgia, and Panama City was a place that we went often, and it is truly a beautiful, beautiful place. And to know that the hotels are literally, feet away from the beach is amazing. No more driving that hour down to Clearwater, because I made that drive for many years when I was hosting spring training in Tampa. So, and then a 15-minute drive to the fields. There's just going to be so much more time to enjoy all of spring break in Florida, and it's closer for our teams. I'm excited for that. I think we'll be able to get even more teams to be able to drive down in an affordable way, because we're talking a 6-hour difference on the travel. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it should do great things for the softball side. Obviously, the baseball side as well should be outstanding for everybody. But Sandy, do you got anything else for us down there?
I'm
Oh,
just
look
down
at
here
that
behind
view.
home plate of field 8 right here. Fortunately, the gates are locked. I can't get out on the turf right now. But I mean, yeah, that's the look. That's the umpire's view of field 8. You imagine your breakaway fence out there. Another game going on down to our left. I spin 180 degrees. There's 2 more fields right there. And down here and down in the softball portion of the complex, they even have their own concessions and bathrooms and restrooms and picnic areas and pavilions as well. So it's almost like a softball complex and a baseball complex, but they're all in one. And plenty of parking. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. It's sunning. I got sun on my face right now. Let's go.
Well, yeah, I'm so sorry that you had to go down there. But
Feel so
yeah,
bad for him.
so happy that we were able to get this deal done. I believe we'll have some information. If it's not even, maybe it's already been sent out to you guys. But press release put out. We'll also have that top 10 list teams to go over, because while that may have been gimmicky, it is the information on there was very important, and certainly something that teams should take into account. I mean, just the distance to the beach. I mean, how close teams are to the beach. I know on looking at schedule request forms for teams, they would literally have to block off 1 or 2 days. Vanna, you could speak about it. 1 or 2 days in their schedule to go to the beach. Now it's like Sandy was saying. I mean, you can go to the beach before your game, after the game. There's
Right,
no
every
issues in
day.
doing that.
Yeah, I mean, some of our teams would even, play 4 days in Tampa and then drive to Panama City to have a spring break. So you're it's all in one here, and it's crazy. Yeah, you'll literally be able to wake up, hit the beach, go play your games, and come back to the beach if that's what you're wanting to do. I mean, there's the possibilities are endless, and I think we'll be able to provide a much better event. Running spring training for a long time, we've always had those, post event reports where we ask the teams, what's important to you, and I honestly think we've addressed everything that the teams have had issues with in the past. I'm so excited to be able to, offer this to our teams, to, our staff. It's gonna be fun.
That's a great point. I mean, even for the staff standpoint, I mean, our staff was working 12, 14-hour days. With the amount of fields, how quickly we can turn over games, it's going to be a lot easier on our staff as well. So I don't think there's any compromises here. There's literally no compromises. So teams should be excited about it. And again, we'll have some more information coming out to you guys on social media, our websites. It'll probably be emailed out. So teams should be really, really excited about it. I know I am. But yeah, if you have any questions about that, Garrett Semek is the current director of spring training operations. He can answer those questions. But I also believe we're going to be opening up some registration soon. Not in the coming weeks, but in the coming months, we'll be opening up registration for this event because we do expect it to fill up fast. We're going to have our regulars coming back. We know that. But I even think with how beautiful this facility is and all the amenities and how great everything is about it, that we'll have more teams signing up than ever. So great work to all the spring training crew. Should be very, very exciting come March. And we'll have some more information out to you soon. With that being said, I think, Savannah, we can transition into some softball talk.
Yeah,
What is
let's
going
just
on in the softball league? You have the league meeting date being announced?
Yes. So we just I sent out the invites yesterday. So the NCSA League meeting, this will be our very first virtual online meeting. It's usually held the Friday night of the NCSA World Series down in Columbus, Georgia. I'm actually excited to be able to have more teams participate. You know, in the past, teams haven't been able to make the trip down to Columbus just for the league meeting, a couple. So I've already gotten probably 30 responses from teams. I'm really excited to have more people involved. So basically what we'll do is we'll review the current 2019-2020 season and then kind of an outlook to the future. We'll talk about proposed rule changes. Teams will be able to ask questions. And we're planning on doing this via Zoom. So that is why you have to RSVP so that I can get your email and email you the link to the Zoom. So if you do not RSVP, you will not receive the link to the Zoom. But we're really excited about that. Like I said, Tuesday, May 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be. And then we've got a couple other things. I think the next thing we'll talk about is the NCSA World Series being canceled for this
Yeah.
year.
So yeah, give us a little update. I don't know if last episode we talked about that, but yeah, let us know what's going on postseason wise.
Right. So unfortunately, just like on, the baseball side of things as well, the NCSA World Series was canceled. We only had a maximum of 9 teams potentially eligible to participate. And those teams had not even received approval from their schools yet. So um, while we know, you may have heard in the news, Georgia is being aggressive with their reopening. Columbus, Georgia is actually being a lot more cautious. Their hotels, the hotels that we use in Columbus, are actually closed to at least June 1st, if not later. Some are closed till June 22nd at the earliest. So um, it's not necessarily that the state of Georgia is reopening. There are some local ordinance and things like that. The fields aren't even open yet, and our World Series is supposed to start next week. So there was a lot of uncertainty there, and the health and safety of our players and staff and all that is super important. So again, super
Absolutely.
sad, super sad. I don't know that I
I
ever
know it's
had the
I know you
capacity to
guys
feel it.
yeah, you guys have a good time down there. And with your volunteer staff, I know in all of our events, we all as a staff have a good time. A lot of stories, and obviously not going to have those stories this year, but have to look forward to next year and hopefully not having to deal with this anymore. But let's talk. You have all region teams also being released as well.
Yes, so we're in the very middle of that. We're doing a daily release. Today will be 7 of 8. The Great American is coming out today, and then tomorrow will be the last one. We've had great response on that. I think we've had the most nominations from teams we've ever had. It's great to be able to see this positive these positive things coming out, to be able to recognize these
Yeah.
players that had an amazing season. I know we weren't able to culminate it and crown a national champion, but there were players that, had amazing standout seasons, and to be able to recognize them is super important to me and to the rest of the league, and the regional director. So, with that being said, we're planning on releasing the All-Americans, hopefully the week of World Series, which would be next week. So everybody keep an eye out for that. And then we have a new award for this year. It's the NCSA Sportsmanship Award. We've gotten a great response from that as well. So that might be, a player that not necessarily was super standout on the field, but a super standout to the team in general, or something that they did in their community. So we've gotten a great response and gotten some really amazing nomination testimonials. I would love to be able to read all of them out loud. I know we won't because we got so many, but I'm really excited to announce that award winner. That'll be out sometime in May. So keep an eye out for that. And then just those LPA renewals and registration forms that we had talked about in all the other leagues, the NCSA got to have those too. So we're looking forward to next season and getting it all going. Spring signing
Putting
teams
this
for
one
spring training.
Yeah, I mean, putting this season behind us and moving forward in a positive manner is, I think, what we're all looking forward to. But that's our show for this month. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Suite 301. As always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Yep. So our next episode won't be until Tuesday, June 8th at 3:01 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. Join us to catch up on everything that's happening around Cold Club Sports.
Awesome. Thanks, Sav. You want to do the tagline?
Thanks. What?
It's a game.
What's it?
Have fun. You'll get it next time.